Big game, big winner, big savings with Premier Heating and Air. Whether you're preparing for the biggest game of the year or the world's biggest winter competition, make sure your HVAC system is prepared as well. Get a $1,500 rebate and $400 system upgrade with the purchase of a new HVAC system from Premier Heating and Air. Experience a premier difference today. Get a gas heat checkup with a free co-monitor for only $69. Heat pump checkup with the first pound of Freon if needed, only $69. Get a free second opinion or a free new unit estimate when you call Premier Heating and Air or log on to premierishere.com. Experience the premier difference today. Locally owned and operated. Offer expires February 28, 2026.
Welcome everybody. I'm glad to have with me today Heather Mullis with Wings. And Heather, we were talking off camera. Wings has been a part of this community for about 30 years. I didn't realize you've been there for 28 years.
Yes,
so,
sir.
You pretty well came in when they put the doors on and the knobs on.
Not too long after anyway.
To me, and I'm very familiar with what y'all do, but to me, it's like our homeless ministry. It has to be a calling, don't it?
It does. I don't think you can do it every day if you don't have a passion for it.
Yeah. And it's not something you can turn off when you go home, is it?
I try.
It's difficult.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah.
I do find myself thinking about it from time to time.
And tell our viewers how the process works. If first of all, who do you help?
So we help victims of domestic violence, and that can be men, women, and children. And we have a variety of services that we help them with, most notably our 24/7 helpline. And most people know us for our shelter. It's a temporary emergency shelter. But we also offer legal advocacy, support groups, counseling, and a lot of other services that are designed to help the victims create a safe and stable environment for themselves and their children.
And you were founded right out of this community from people that, and I know many of them, but people that, Christian people that
Yes.
had a love for people that were being abused.
Absolutely. The steering committee formed primarily with members of Pine Forest Church, and they included members of the community, and it just grew from there. And that was back in the, I would say, mid to late 80s. Mm-hmm. And then we opened the door in 1991.
And Pine Forest, you're talking about somebody involved in missions, not just foreign missions, but they believe missions begins right here at home.
Oh, yes, sir.
Just unbelievable people, and one of my favorite people is Dr. Schumann. Him and his wife, people don't realize what all they do in this community, I don't think. Mm-hmm. But they're out there. They wear many hats. So, but Pine Forest, just wonderful church. But so, what if you get a call and you can't place them right then? Do y'all refer to other places? We
do. There are actually 47 total domestic violence shelters in the state of Georgia, and that are certified by the state. Mm-hmm. And so we network with those we consider our partner agencies, and try to find a placement for them. Most often we refer to Vidalia, which is our closest one, or either Macon or Warner Robins. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And even if you do have a place, I know we had a situation a couple years ago where, and just a caveat here, you don't advertise where you're located. Right. And I mean, you want to have that as safe as possible.
It is safety net. Yeah. I would call it, I guess. But we had a lady that we really thought we need to get out of town, and mm-hmm. y'all referred us to a place in South Georgia. It was called the Cottages, mm-hmm. and you know where I'm talking about. But mm-hmm. And the lady, we took her down there. I got a driver, and we took her down there. And, oh, it feels so good. She'll text me every few months or whatever, and this long text about how we saved her life. And I know you hear that a lot. Mm-hmm. Y'all save a lot of lives. and have over the last 30 years. There's countless lives. But now she's got her own place. She's got a new life. She's free of that abuse. And I say that to lead into this. How does it make you feel? I know how it makes me feel with her, but you do it quite often. But how does it make you feel when you run into people, maybe in the community, that have moved on and have a better life? How does it make you feel on a personal level?
You know, it just feels really good to have played some part in that. And obviously, up in administration, I'm not doing direct services, but I know that what I do supports the client advocates, and to know that an agency that I'm involved with is making such a difference in the lives of people in this community is just fulfilling.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be. And over 28 years, you've touched a lot of lives, your staff. We were talking off camera about your staff, and we'll talk about them a little more later, but we're only as good as our people. And you got to have good people on that front line when they come in, because they're in a bad place when they walk in that door.
They are.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back right after this.
So when I sat down for an interview, Mike asked me one question. He asked me what made me choose Howard Shepherd. Why did I want to come to work out here? You know, I told him I was ready to learn.
Fred had a desire to be a mechanic and learn the transportation side or the logistics side of things. What he learned at OFTC has just taken his job and his performance to another level.
OFTC prepared me for working here. You know, it fits perfectly when I was going to school for it.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm talking with Heather Mullis with Wings. You know, we didn't say to start off with, I want to know, tell our viewers what Wings stands for, first of all.
Well, this might be where you have to edit it out, because we don't use all that anymore.
Okay.
So obviously originally it was Women in Need of God's Shelter,
Right.
but we try to just go by Wings now, because that just doesn't fit who we are anymore. We serve more than women, and we do more than shelter. So we kind of just focus just on the Wings part of it.
Well, and that makes sense, and I think that explanation, maybe we might leave it in, because so people understand.
Yeah.
Because for so long, and when Pine Forest originally, I guess, started this, got this kicked off, that was the main purpose.
It was.
The mission statement or whatever. So, okay, walk us through when someone walks in the door, what happens?
Well, most often when people get to us, they just need to rest. Maybe they haven't had a good meal in a little while. Maybe they need to just get a good long shower and just kind of get their bearings. And so we give them about a day to just kind of, you know, realize, okay, I've made the step, because it's a huge decision to step out on faith and leave the abusive relationship and look for help. Yeah. And then we sit down with them and we talk about where they're at, what they want to accomplish, where they want to go. Focusing first on safety. Perhaps they need a protective order. Perhaps they have friends or family in another city or another state that we can help them get to, so that they're not stuck in the same town as their abuser. And then once we lay out basically a plan of action, set their goals with them, then we start working toward those goals. And that may mean getting the kids enrolled in school. It may mean getting rounding up Social Security cards, birth certificates, all of those documents that they're going to need for housing, for jobs, for accessing benefits, things like that. And then while they're in services, they participate, the women and the children have an opportunity to participate in support group, and so they can talk more about their situation, talk with women who have gone through similar things, and realize that they're not the only person who's going through that, which is one of the things that abusers do, is they isolate their victims. And so they think, oh, I'm the only one that's having to deal with this. And so when they get into shelter, they realize they're not. Learn a lot about healthy relationships and coping skills and things like that to deal with the changes that they're going through. And with the kids, we're trying to teach them healthy relationships too, and showing them that maybe the way mom and daddy were handling conflict, the way daddy was treating their mama, is not normal, and it's not what they need to expect from their relationships. Do a lot of safety planning with the kids as well. We try to do a lot of fun stuff, because if an abusive home, fun is not usually number one on the agenda. If you're walking around on eggshells, like trying, figure out what's going to trigger, a beating today. And so we do things like take them to the movies or go bowling, or during the summer we spend a lot of time at the water park. And I think the kids are going to be out of school for a couple of days, and our child advocate's already arranged a picnic at Southern Pines and some other things like that just low cost fun things that the families can do together.
Well, and you don't really think of that. I never thought of it, but yeah, fun is not on the priority list when you're in an abusive home.
No.
And you don't want that to carry on to the next generation.
No.
So I think that's a twofold part of teaching these kids. That's not normal behavior.
Right. We find that children who have grown up in a home like that are more likely to become victims as well as perpetrators. So we're trying to break the cycle.
Yeah, because it's not just mom being abused. I doubt the man, the live-in, the daddy, whoever, don't stop with the mom.
No, those children are also more likely to be victims of child abuse themselves.
Yeah.
Whether it's physical or emotional, or just watching your mom go through that is, devastating for a child.
It's got to be. I thank God every day for my parents. I still have them, and the kind of family I grew up in. We were naive. I was just talking to mom and dad last week about a neighbor lived across the road from us, out in the country, not across the street, but country road. But I would go over there, spend the night, come home after church Sunday, and Miss So-and-so would have a black eye, or, her face would be bruised. And as a small child, I had no idea what was going on. As I got older, my friend opened up to me because he was bruised one day. And, I found out this sweet, precious Christian woman, she was a godly woman, but she was living in an abusive home, and she was just trapped, I guess, in her mind. She had nowhere to go, and a lot of times that's how these women feel, isn't it?
It is. Depends on how, what they've seen growing up, what they think is normal, what they've been taught, particularly in church, about divorce, or just because they may have financial reasons are the number one reason that a person stays. It is so hard nowadays for even a two-income family to survive. So much less if you take a single mom with multiple kids, and try to, find a job that's going to pay for rent and groceries and car and school clothes and childcare. Yeah. So it's very hard, and because they are in a relationship with a person that at the beginning, this is somebody that they care about. This is somebody that they love. And so they're invested in that relationship, and they don't want to maybe admit that they have failed at the relationship, that they feel like they're doing something wrong. That's what the abuser has told them. Well, if you wouldn't do such and such, I wouldn't have to hit you. Or if you didn't do so, I wouldn't get so mad. And so they feel like it's their fault. So people always say, well, why didn't she just leave? It's not that simple.
No, it's not. And there's no, and I've counseled with many people, there is no reason, no situation where you should put your hands on a woman. Never. If you can't handle it and You know, I tell young people, I've had young people mention, you and your wife seem so happy together. I said, yeah, we love each other. I said, number one, I said, she never puts me first. And they said, well, gosh, how does that work? I said, well, she puts God first. And I put God first. And then if you'll put it in that order, and then you come under that, don't mean you're not going to have problems. And the other thing I tell young people, I said, me and Julie never argue. And they said, you never argue? I said, well, we have some intense fellowship every now and then, but we don't, and we really don't argue. But you have disagreements, but there's a way to handle those disagreements. Because anybody been married or been in a relationship any time, we're all human. We're going to disagree. But there is a way, it's okay to disagree, just don't be disagreeable. You know, there is no need to argue about that. But there are ways, and I know you help them cope with those kind of things.
Yes, we do. As part of our support group, and even as part of our education program, when we go out into the middle and high schools and we talk about healthy relationships, we talk about communication and how to handle conflict and what to look for in a relationship, and so that these young people don't end up in these dangerous situations.
I'm curious about this, and I've handled, I'll say many, through our ministry, abusive situations, and we do work great with y'all. Y'all just wonderful to work with, but I have found out the woman wouldn't be working, and after doing my due diligence and asking questions, I find out that the abuser, whatever he might be, wouldn't let her work, because that's his way of keeping his thumb on the scale. You know, number one, when he's beating or abusing or whatever, she don't have to go to work looking a certain way. Can't put on enough makeup to cover some of this up. Plus, he knows she can't go nowhere. What do you see there?
Well, so it's with domestic violence, it's all about control, and that's exactly what you're saying. Is if she's at the house, because if she was at work, then she would have coworkers that might pick up on what's going on and try to help her get out. She would have money that she would be able to maybe to spend, to put away, to be able to get away from him. But if she's stuck at the house, then she doesn't have access to money. She doesn't have access to an escape route. She doesn't have access to a support system.
Yeah, and there's a better chance that she may confide in somebody she's got close with, even if the markings aren't there. Because people don't realize we're talking about physical abuse, but emotional abuse a lot of times is worse than the physical abuse.
Yes, absolutely.
You can just beat, and I see it in kids where, you know, you tell them they're stupid or they're not worth anything, and they grow up believing they're stupid. And that's just not how you want to raise your children. You want them to feel loved, know they're loved, and the emotional abuse to me is just, oh my, I see that a lot. It's heart-wrenching to me.
Yes, absolutely, because if you hear it enough, you start to believe it about yourself. And it takes a lot of people telling you the opposite, and you working through that probably in counseling and with other professional help to reverse those beliefs.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to take another break. We'll be right back.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota equipment. As the #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S., they offer the versatility and reliability to get the job done right all year round. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment with 0% financing available or save up to $2,500.
Products you can count on, a name you can trust. That's Midstate Tractor and Equipment.
Welcome back, everybody. Continue my conversation with Heather Mullis with Wings. And, you know, when people think about abuse, you think about younger people or middle-aged people, but y'all help a wide variety of people, don't you?
We absolutely do. We have had victims as young as 18 and as old as mid-80s.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, my parents are 88 and 87. I cannot imagine them being abused. I just, you know, my mom, I just can't imagine that. And I said earlier, you know, I grew up, I was naive to things like that because we didn't have alcohol in the house. We never heard Daddy raise his voice or Mama raise her voice. She was the quiet kind. When she said something, that was it. Daddy might act like he's the boss. Mama was the boss. And anybody been married for any length of time, you need to learn that. You know, Mama's always right. Just let it go and go on. So, but so if somebody's watching us right now, Heather, that's in that abusive relationship, what would you say to them?
Well, first off, you don't have to stay there. There is a way out. Obviously, if you're local, Wings is going to be a great resource for you. We have the 24/7 helpline, so anytime, day or night. I mean, 2 o'clock in the morning, if you need to reach out and call and talk to somebody, then there's somebody answering the phone, and it is trained staff that are answering the phone. It's not an answering service. We also you can reach us through our Facebook page or through our website. So if you, for some reason, don't have access to a phone or it's not safe to use a phone, then you can reach us that way. But just reach out for help, even if you don't, you know, even if you're not ready to leave, if you're just needing to talk to somebody about what your options are and maybe to get yourself a plan and prepared. You know, you do not have to live in an unhealthy situation like that.
No, absolutely not. And you mentioned trained staff. I've been out, we've taken stuff, our ministry, we've taken clothes to the kids or food or whatever on a Saturday or something. And I'm always just so impressed with the staff that's there. It's, I mean, it's such a loving environment, and it's so sincere. It's not, I don't think you can train that. I mean, you can train people to your way of the way you do things, but when you interview people, you can see those kind of things. Either, you know, it's like a nurse. You know, there's nothing like a loving nurse. And, you know, if you're not called to be a nurse, it's just got to be a long shift every day.
Yeah.
Because it's a tough job. It's really a tough job. But and I mentioned earlier, you're only as good as your people. Let's brag on your staff for a minute.
Okay, well, I do have about 15 employees and got some really good ladies, and most of them have been with us for a long time. I mean, I've got some that have been with 20, I was trying to think. I mean, I would say more than half the staff's been there over 10 years.
That says a lot.
So yeah, we don't have a lot of turnover, which means that our staff is committed to what they're doing. I have, of course, you know, helping the administrative office. I have client advocates. We have a legal advocate. We have our most valued employees are our shelter and crisis line workers, and those are the ones who work, you know, keep that 24/7 coverage going. They're there 8 to 4, 4 to 12, and 12 to 8 every day.
Okay, so they're there. They're not taking a call, waking up in the middle of the night. They're there.
They are there, and they are awake.
They're ready to go
They're
when
ready
that
to
phone
go.
rings, and I'm sure you get calls 24 hours a day.
We do. Some of the ones that come in the middle of the night are a little bit more strange than the other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's not unusual for us to get somebody late at night, early in the morning. That's just when that's a quiet time in the house. Maybe the abuser is asleep and they can actually get to a phone and have a conversation. Or maybe something has happened and law enforcement has responded to a home. And so law enforcement is calling on behalf of that victim and, you know, as far as accessing services.
How long does a typical call last if somebody calls like that?
Oh gosh. Depends on the staff member sometimes, and depends on the situation, but some of them are, you know, are 10 minutes, like here's just a little bit of information, and then some of them, they may be on the phone with them for 30 minutes or more, just talking with them and providing them with support.
And the way you're set up, how many can you handle at one time?
We can handle 18. at a time, and that's a combination of adults and children.
Okay. So you've got individual rooms for...
We do. We have 6 bedrooms. Each bedroom has its own bathroom. And we have one somewhat handicapped accessible room. It probably wouldn't pass ADA, but we've tried our best with it. And then we have a couple of smaller bedrooms for maybe a mom and 1 or 2 kids. And then we have a couple of larger bedrooms for a mom with maybe 4 or 5 kids.
Mm-hmm. And how are you funded?
We receive a lot of grant funding that is either originates at the federal level or originates at the state level. Obviously, as a certified domestic violence shelter here in the state of Georgia, we're line item in the state budget. So we appreciate our, our legislators keeping us there. But we also get a lot of private foundations, a lot of local churches, businesses, and individuals just give to us every month.
Yeah.
And that's what helps us do the things that we need to do. Government money comes with strings attached.
Amen.
So when we get the money from the local community, we can do what needs to be done with
That's
it.
right.
We don't have to worry about, is that going to meet the criteria of this particular grant?
Yeah, and that money people give because they love the ministry that you're doing and don't care how you do it because they know you've been there 30 years. You're doing the right thing with the money. So somebody watching, if they would like to give to Wings, how would they do that?
So obviously they could mail us a check to our mailing address, or if they wanted to go onto our website, there's a donate button on there, and so they can use a credit card and make a donation, and they can even set up recurring donations if they want to give $10 a month or things, or whatever. Then they don't even have to think about it after they set it up.
And that's the way to do it. Just set it up on your card. Set up $100 a month, $50 a month, whatever you're comfortable with, and that way that funding's coming. If you got 100 people giving $50 a month,
it adds up.
It's easier to budget, and people that do that generally give for years and years and years. So, and while Heather and I have been talking, there's been that crisis number on the screen. It stayed up pretty well all the time. You see it now. And of course, that address, you can mail that check, go on the website like Heather said. But we're going to take another quick break, and we'll come back and wrap things up.
Progressive Rural Telephone Co-op offers a full range of communication products and services to its members in Lawrence County and surrounding areas. We take pride in being your total communications provider, and we work hard to provide quality services at the best prices. In addition to offering phone service, we provide high-speed internet and digital high-def TV. And we always strive to put our members first. Progressive Rural, your total communications company. Small enough to know you, large enough to serve you. ProgressiveTel.com. Call 478-984-4201 or stop by 890 Simpson Avenue in Rents. Progressive Rural Telephone Co-op.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to wrap things up. So what kind of area do you cover?
So we serve 7 counties here. We serve Bleckley, Dodge, Johnson, Lawrence, Telfair, Wilcox, and Wilkinson.
Wow.
Yeah. That's when you become a staff member, that's your first test.
Well, you got it down.
I do.
A lot of people stumble. Of course, a lot of people cover 15 counties.
Yeah.
You know how it is, United Way or whoever. But that is a lot of area to cover.
It is.
So how do you get the word out? I know things like this, but but how other ways do you get the word out? And talk a little bit about how you educate younger people about abuse.
Okay. Well, obviously, we participate in any kind of collaborative meeting that we can in all of the counties, and we welcome any opportunity to go and talk with church groups, civic groups, just any even professionals that might be working, that might potentially see victims of domestic violence. We can do training on domestic violence or just wing services. And we really, my passion, because it's how I got started at Wings, is our prevention education program. And we go into middle schools, high schools, and colleges, and we talk about healthy versus unhealthy relationships. And we talk about why it's so important to look for a healthy relationship and how dangerous it can be if you end up in an unhealthy or an abusive relationship, and the long-term consequences that has. And we try to make it fun. We do some games. We maybe throw a video in there. We really try to get the kids involved in talking about relationships, because kids as young as middle school, 10, 11, 12 years old, are dating, or whatever they're calling it nowadays. Yeah. And some of them are getting into some fairly violent relationships in high school. And it's scary, because the younger that they're in that type of relationship, the more likely they are to be seriously injured, if not killed, at some point in their lifetime.
Jeez, that's so sad. And I knew where you were going with that, because with so much bullying now, and that leads into that physical and emotional on social media. We didn't have that growing up.
No.
We just didn't have that kind of stuff. It's relatively new. If you're 20 years old, you think it's been around forever, and it hadn't.
Yes.
You think YouTube and Google, it's always been in existence, or cell phones. But we grew up in a world without that.
Yes.
But you really open yourself up when you go into these schools, because it's an interactive type session, you just said. I bet you get some doozy of questions coming from these kids.
We do, and then we also get some disclosures afterwards, where some of the students say, either come to me or whoever's presenting, or go to their teacher later and say, yeah, that's going on. It's either going, whether they're dealing with it, or maybe they're like, oh, that's going on at my house, or I have a friend that I see that happening and I'm concerned about them. So we're reaching people, and especially with prevention, if we can just keep one person from becoming a victim.
Yeah, I agree, and you've helped many more than that. But so what do you do when that child, say 12, 13, 14-year-old child, says, this is happening in my home? How do you follow up on that? What do you do?
We try to work with the school counselor or social worker to see whether they can, reach out to the mom and, discreetly inquire, offer services, things like that, because it is hard, because you don't want to create even more trouble in the home by saying, oh, your kid went to school and told what's going on. So we really work with the school to try to help with that.
Yeah, the last thing you want, law enforcement show up, they find out little Joey done told what daddy's been doing, or it goes both ways. Men can be abused.
They absolutely can be.
We don't think about that, but yeah, men can be not only emotionally abused, but physically abused. So it does work both ways. So we've had on the screen while we've been talking today, the crisis line. You can call that number 24 hours a day. And we'd love you to get involved by donating, because it takes money to operate nonprofits like Wings, and we've got some great nonprofits in the community, but it takes money, lots of money.
Lots of money.
And that's part of your job. You're doing that all the time. That's where the rubber meets the road.
Absolutely.
For you to be able to have a 24-hour crisis line, for you to have a staff of 15, for you to pay the light bill.
It does. Having a 24/7 program or a residential program costs so much more than just a, regular office hours, 8 to 5 kind of thing, because you have to, pretty much all the things that you go through at your house, we go through probably, 10 times over. Everything from laundry detergent to toilet paper to, cleaning products to, food. We go through a lot of food.
And that's where people can help.
Yes, absolutely.
You go to Sam's and you buying toilet paper, get 5 or 6 more, because at Sam's you're gonna get a big package of toilet paper. Get 5 or 6 extra. Drop, get it to them, and that's something you don't have to pay money for. You ain't got to write a check.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and if you would like to donate some items, you can drop, where the TV station, where we at. It's convenient. Drop it off here. We'll get it to Heather and them, and just make it real easy on you. But last question. You've been there 28 years. Originally, what made you apply at Wings, and what was your first job?
Well, I just needed a job.
See, she's honest. I like that. That's a rare commodity.
I was in graduate school getting my master's degree in psychology. And I was looking for a job that was going to be somewhat in the field, and saw the opportunity for the prevention educator position. It was a part-time position at the time. And absolutely had no idea what I was getting into. But once I got going, loved it. Once I completed my education, had an opportunity to move into client services, moved into supervision, and then when the director at the time left for another opportunity, I was like, well, I'll, apply for it. Who knows? And never actually thought I would get the position, but I did, and yeah, 23 years later.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you'd been there 5 years.
I had been there 5 years when I got,
And then you took the job as administrator. Looking back, it probably don't seem like 28 years has went by.
It doesn't, but I always say I grew up there, because,
Literally.
it was, since I've been there, obviously, finished my education, got married, had 2 kids, so I've done it all. I just can't imagine doing anything else at this
How old are
point.
the kids now?
24 and 22.
Yeah, you did raise a family right
did.
there, and what a great way to raise them, to be able to see what Mom does to help people in this community.
Absolutely.
And throughout this part of Central Georgia, really. But did you ever think you would be there 28 years?
No, absolutely not. I thought it was just probably going to be a stepping stone, let me do this, get some experience, and then move into something else. But nothing else better ever came along. And I always felt like I still had more to do. I couldn't just leave the job unfinished.
I get it. Yeah, and the passion you have for it, I think it would have been hard to leave even for more money, because you do believe in the mission that you're on.
I do.
Yeah, and money's not everything.
No, it's not. It
Yeah,
helps though.
But sounds like you just gonna have a job on your resume and use that psychology degree somewhere else. And
Well, I use it a lot with staff, with the community, and with the clients too. Just having that knowledge to be able to help them work through some situations from time to time.
well, good. And Heather's available. Your civic club, church group. Whatever, if you need her to come speak during the worship hour, just tell her how long. She's probably like me. I got a 10-minute spiel. I got a 30-minute spiel.
I do.
I can go an hour.
I love to talk about wings. I can do it sometimes I have to tell people to cut me off.
Oh, I agree. So whichever way you want her to go, she'll go. But we all need to be educated in this, because this is something that's affecting our communities. I've always heard that every house you go by, there's a story there. Sometimes they're not good stories. We hope, but you just don't know. You just don't know what's going on in that home. But we need to look for those signs, and we need to be there for people and help people. And now, if you didn't know, Wings is available, and that crisis line is still right there on the screen. So if you're just joining us, we'll air this program again, or you can go to our YouTube channel, Just type in TV 35 in the search bar. You can watch this show again, write the number down, share it with whoever you're thinking of now, or you may be the one that you might want to make that call today. So make the call. That's how it starts, and just find out what your options are. So Heather, thank you so much.
You're
It's always
welcome.
good
Thank
to
you for
talk
having
with
us.
you. Absolutely. Thank you for joining us today.